For years, we have been spoiled by being able to tune our Fox bodies. We had a plethora of options as far as computers go. You had Mega Squirt, you had Holly, Moates quarter horse, all sorts of things you could use to tune your Fox body. Well, it seems like things are quickly changing for us. A couple of days ago, I got a response on one of my videos mentioning the fact that Moates is no longer selling the quarter horse. I'll put up the message that Moates has up on their website right now and let you guys kind of read through it. This is a big blow to the FOXBODY community because that has been a go-to for many years. And, I'm going to be honest with you, it's one of the easier setups to get into. Nowadays, we do have more options, and we'll discuss that a little later on. But that has been the easiest option to go to because there's no wiring harness, upgrades, there's none of that. This is pretty much plug and play, and you get your car tuned. Now, Leach Motorsports, as you all know, has been tuning my cars, and that was something that Matt always would recommend for most people would be the Moates because it's so simple, it's cheap, and he knows his way around that system. So, you go buy this thing, you call him up, and you get yourself a base tune, and you're pretty much on the road, and then a couple more revisions, and you're done. Requires really very little legwork from you. If I'm being completely honest with you, it's been one of my favorites. So here are a couple reasons why. Once again, it's plug and play. Put it in your car, load the tune, and you're good to go. It's a very, very simple, quick job. The second thing is honestly, my cars run better. Now that mileage will vary, obviously. Some of you like the Holly better. Some of you probably like the Mega Squirt or Micro Squirt. And there are plenty of other options out there, but those are just the main ones that I can think of right off the top of my head. And next up is going to be the price. Very cheap. You can get into a quarter horse setup for somewhere around $300, $400, something like that. Now, one of the downsides to the quarter horse was you have to know binary editor, which is it's just not the same as Holly or any of the other systems out there. They are way more intuitive than binary editor is. So I will say that for a noob, definitely not something you probably want to try to tune yourself. There are other options out there. The major blow, honestly, is the price. These things were making a resurgence. Quarter horse had kind of come back into the game in the past couple of years, and people were really starting to use it again because so many of us don't want to have to upgrade our wiring harnesses. Now, there are so many people out there in the world that want to get rid of this raggedy old wiring harness and put in the latest, greatest thing. That's wonderful. And there are plenty of options out there for you to do that. But for most of us that literally just want our cars tuned and want to keep it as simple as possible, that was the way to go. Well, now we've lost that. But with that being said, we still have two major options, believe it or not. Now, this is the funny thing. For the longest time, you really only had two options to keep a stock harness, right? That was going to be your quarter horse and then your Mega Squirt or Micro Squirt. Those were the two most common to be able to retain your factory wiring harness. The issue is the idle logic that they have built into this. I don't know exactly what the issue is, but I can tell you that there are the options that you have for your idle air control typically give people a hard time. I've struggled with it. I've tuned my own car from scratch, learned off the internet, and did a pretty good job for the most part. I just could never nail down the idle. Now, most people use Mega Squirt, Micro Squirt in a speed density setup, but it can be used with mass air. Although I've never tried it, I know people have been successful at it. Price-wise, they're pretty reasonable for the most part because they're so easy. It's plug and play. It's still not as cheap as the quarter horse, but it is easier to learn. I would absolutely recommend one of these if you're wanting to learn how to tune. It's very simple. Tuner Studio is awesome, super easy to use, but it gets very in-depth if you would like. If you want to go behind the curtain, peel it back, trust me, there's a lot of things going on back there that honestly can blow your mind, but you never have to go back there for the most part. There's a couple things you're going to have to do, but there's tons of information out there online. Until this year, you weren't able to just plug and play with a Holly, not in a FOXBODY. It didn't work that way. You had to put a whole new wiring harness in your car, rewire everything, run relays. It was a bitch. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't enjoy it, but that's what you had to do. And the Holley system is really good, if I'm being honest with you. But it's very expensive. For most people, it wasn't easy to install. And it definitely was one of the more expensive options. But you have a lot of tunability when it comes to that. So there's a win for the Holley. Now, the other good thing with running a Holley, Terminator X, or whatever it is that you're running is there are so many tuners out there that work with this system. It's easy. It's very easy to get somebody to help you with this. Find a tuner or either find somebody to teach you how to do it. There's tons of information out there. That's probably going to be number one on the list as far as support goes, at least for right now, as of this video. So a friend of mine, Danny, I met him at Ford Takeover early this year, was talking about the possibility of a plug-and-play Holley system into your factory harness. And I was like, hell yeah, man, sign me up. That seems awesome, right? Next thing I know, it's on the market. He did it. This guy's a freaking whiz. He's a genius when it comes to any of this type stuff. So now, if you have a FOXBODY Mustang, you have two really good options. You've got the Mega Squirt, and now you've got the Holley plug and freaking play. This is awesome. And you lose nothing from using your stock harness, because if you need extra controls that aren't available through your factory wiring harness, you can just pin them in. Imagine literally pulling your stock computer out and popping a Holley in it. That's dope. I'm not gonna lie to you. I love that idea. So with all of this being said, it's not the end of the world, but it does feel like the man is breathing down our neck a little bit. Now, I'm not gonna get into that. I just want to tell you guys, if you're wanting your car tuned, you know, and maybe you don't have the computer system yet or whatever the case may be, I would probably go ahead and buy one just, you know, as soon as possible. Go ahead and get my hands on whatever you want to use to tune your car, because this looks a little shaky nowadays. I mean, there are constantly new regulations coming out to keep us from tuning our own cars. But here's the thing. They can't do anything about the cars that have already been tuned, or if you learn how to tune your own car and you have the hardware, then you can just tune your own car. Nobody's ever going to come to your house and say, hey, you can't tune your car, right? So that's a good option, guys. Pay these guys to tune your car. By all means, they're out there working their asses off to do this. So pay them. But at the same time, learn as much as you can, because there may come a point to where you can't do that. So look, the FOXBODYs are more popular than they've ever been right now. Enjoy your time with your FOXBODY. Tune them while you can. And I'll catch you in the next video. And as always, thanks for watching.